Florida announces English only requirement for driver's license test. Villager registers as a sex offender after conviction in Virginia. Residents were horrified when raw sewage was flooding their homes. A huge warehouse may be the first structure built at Monarch Ranch Industrial Park. Villagers believe they were betrayed when a developer just kept building. The villages will be taking steps to ensure the safety of staff and residents during this cold weather. Suspicious behavior at Wawa leads to the discovery of meth in his billfold. How many holes of ones of golf do we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Thanks, everybody, for coming to this week's Villages News Updated. I believe this is a subject that people have been talking about for quite a while now. Beginning Friday, February 6th, all driver's license knowledge and skills examinations will be administered exclusively in English in the state of Florida. This change applies to all driver's license classifications, including exams administered orally, according to an announcement from the Florida Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. Previously, knowledge exams for most non-commercial driver's license certifications were offered in multiple languages, while commercial learner's permit, the CLP, and commercial driver's license, the CDL, knowledge exams were only available in English and Spanish. Under the updated policy, all driver's license knowledge skills testing and all will be conducted in English only. To implement this change, the FLH SMV has updated its driver's license testing system statewide. Language translation services will no longer be permitted for knowledge or skills examinations, and any printed exams in languages other than English will be removed for use. Well, that's for the state of Florida, but all CDLs across the nation, they have reciprocity with every other state. In other words, if I get a CDL license in Indiana, every state has reciprocity. That means they have to accept that. So if they won't give them that test here in, say, let's say Spanish, if Indiana does, or if Georgia does, or if Alabama does, they can go up there and get a temporary residence and then go over and apply for a CDL, and they'll get it up there. The only thing that'll be different would be the address. But I've been a driver long enough to know that most of the time addresses and things like that, they're not really checked out on the highway. They're just not. A 126,636 square foot industrial warehouse may be the first structure on the huge Monarch Ranch Industrial Park. Monarch Ranch Building 1 would be south of State Road 44, about a half mile west of 301, on a tiny portion of the 3,400 acre ranch annex to Wildwood last year. Special Magistrate Lindsay C.T. Holt recommended approval of the building site plan at a meeting Tuesday of the Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board. The City Commission may consider the site plan on February 23. Holt also recommended approval of an ordinance to authorize plan development status for the 49-acre Monarch Ranch North. The entire Monarch Ranch stretches farther south of State Road 44 toward Interstate 75. Owners of the Wildwood site are 75 Turnpike BDC and a 75 Turnpike VDC LLC. A representative of the developer said he could not offer details on when the structure would be built or a business that would occupy it. The warehouse will have 211 parking spaces, including 8 handicap spaces and 5 loading areas. A developer have requested a technical waiver that would reduce the depth of all parking spaces from 20 feet to 18 feet. Trees, existing structures, concrete, septic tanks, and other materials will be removed from the project site before construction. The planned development ordinance would allow up to 500,000 square feet of industrial space on the 49-acre site. Wildwood Planning Director Melanie Strickland said Monarch Ranch is one of the 2 mega industrial sites in Florida. It is the largest area of vacant land between Orlando and Tampa. Located near the convergence of I-75 and the Florida Turnpike, an estimated 69% of all Florida truck traffic passes the site. 2 years ago, Benderson Development bought the ranch for $40 million in partnership with the Villages. Well, you see the map there behind me, or you did. I don't know if it's still there or not. I haven't edited this yet, but quickly, look where it's at. If you're going to buy a home here, you've seen how many trucks said go by, what did it say, 60% of all Florida trucks go by that area? I would think really long and hard before I bought anywhere near that area. More and more villagers are concluding they were betrayed when they bought their homes and believed the promise that the developer was going to stop building. It's a story we hear every day as the village's population soars toward 200,000. Bigger than Clearwater, bigger than Gainesville, nearly as big as Tallahassee, soon to rival Fort Lauderdale. We bought here in 2015 and it was wonderful. However, we found that everyone without fail that we've talked to all have the same comment. Oh, there won't be any more building past 44. Whichever village they lived in, said Vicki McMillan of the village of Charlotte. She said the deception is perfectly clear to her now. You have taken out the uniqueness of the beauty concept. How much do you have to overtake for the sake of money? Stop the expansion and just keep the dream as your grandfather saw it. Enough is enough, she said. Sandy Shepard Mueller bought into villages in 2013. By 2021, she'd had enough. It was a wonderful place to live and enjoy retirement. I, too, was told that the build-out was soon. As time went into years, it became more and more crowded, she said. Shepard Mueller moved back to North Carolina and has no regret. She said the traffic and entitlement had become too much to bear. In the restaurant, there seems to be a contest to see who can be the loudest. That ain't no kidding. Donald Cruz calls himself a geezer and bought his home in the villages in 2001. I agree that the dream is fading. He said, Florida's friendliest hometown. Stop focusing on making retirees' dreams come true and instead focused on bankrolling the developers' pockets. Something has gone amiss, he said. Well, share your thoughts. Leave comments below. Let me know what you think. Oh, here we go. A villager has registered as a sex offender after a conviction last year in Virginia. Edmund Timothy Ray, 63, who lives at 3165 Atwell Avenue in the village of Polo Ridge, registered as a sex offender this past week, according to the information from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. He was convicted in August 2025 of a sex offense, specifically object sexual penetration in Fairfax County, Virginia. The victim was a female under the age of 12, and Ray will remain on sex offender probation through August 2027. The offense dates back to 2004, according to the Florida Department of Corrections. Ray purchased his home in the villages in 2023. Welcome to Florida's friendliest hometown. Okay, I've got some DUI arrests. Again this week, I got them kind of grouped together. The villages will lose his driver's license and must stay away from booze after a golf cart crash near a gate. Patrick Joseph Reddy, 68, of the village of Santo Domingo, pleaded no contest this past week in Lake County Court to a charge of driving under the influence. He was placed on probation for 1 year, will lose his driver's license for 6 months, and has been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service, but he may buy out at a rate of $10 per hour. You guys agree with that? I'm just curious. In addition, he has been ordered to seek an alcohol evaluation and follow any recommendation of treatment. He also must refrain from drinking alcohol during the term of his probation. Yeah, that always works. Reddy was driving a golf cart in the wrong direction at about 5 p.m. October 1 when he exited through the entrance lane at the gate of Cortez Avenue and Rio Grande Avenue, according to the Rush Department and Lady Lake Police Department. While traveling in the wrong direction, he sideswiped another vehicle. He also damaged the gate and some landscaping. A couple in another vehicle saw the golf cart fleeing the scene of the crash. They began following the golf cart, and a woman in the car ordered the golf cart to pull over. Reddy kept driving. The couple continued following the golf cart and were joined in the pursuit by the driver of the vehicle, which had been sideswiped. Reddy finally stopped the golf cart in the 800 block of Cortez Avenue. Prior to the arrival of police, Reddy offered to pay cash to fix the other vehicle and asked that law enforcement not be notified. Reddy had vomited on himself, and it appeared he had been drinking. He struggled through field sobriety exercises and soon became frustrated. "Just arrest me," he told the police. The New Jersey native provided 2 breath samples which both registered .070 blood alcohol content. That's pretty low, really, but they can still get you for it. A villager was arrested on a drunk driving charge while traveling with his wife in a golf cart at Lake Sumter Landing. Alexander Edwin Charleston Jr., 57, of the village of Sable Chase, was driving a black golf cart at about 7 p.m. Friday at Old Mill Run and Old Camp Road when the Sumter County Sheriff's deputy noticed the headlights were not on. During a traffic stop, it appeared Charleston had been drinking. His passenger was identified as his wife. He struggled through field sobriety exercises and provided breath samples that registered .073 and .075 blood alcohol content. Charles was arrested on charges of driving under the influence. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. Technically, he's also below the legal limit, but you can still get it. If you have an accident or whatever, they can say you were under the influence. Under the influence doesn't mean drunk. For those of you that don't know, under the influence means you can be under the influence of anything. Alcohol, prescription pills, whatever. A driver will lose his license after drunk driving convictions was caught back behind the wheel near a shopping plaza in the Villages. Randy Barnes, 52, of Leesburg, was driving a beige Honda SUV at about 10 a.m. Friday when an officer ran the license plate and discovered his history of driving while license suspended. During a traffic stop near Magnolia Plaza, Barnes admitted he had lost his license due to DUI convictions. Barnes had been sentenced to 10 days in jail last year for driving with suspended license. He was arrested on a felony charge of driving while license suspended. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $2,500 bond. An 89-year-old villager with a criminal history was arrested at Lake Sumter Landing. Morris Wolf of the village of Mallory Square was at the wheel of a silver Scion SUV at about 9 p.m. Wednesday in the area of Lake Sumter Landing and Lakeshore Drive when he failed to come to a complete stop at a flashing red light, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. During a traffic stop, a deputy found that Wolf's license had been suspended 5 times for failure to pay court financial obligations. Wolf has a long... I laugh because I don't personally know the guy, but I know this guy's history. We reported him so many times. I just think he's a character. He was taken into custody on misdemeanor charge of driving while license suspended. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. Now, let me explain a little bit about my giggling here on this. Now, none of this that he's done here is laughable. His character to me is laughable. This guy's 89 years old and he still defies people, the police. You know, he's still arguing about whatever it is he's arguing about. I guess he thinks he's right, they're wrong, whatever the case may be. He's tired of the BS in his life, and he just says and does what he wants. With the colder than normal temperatures expected over the next several days, the Villages Community Development District, in partnership with Jacobs, is taking proactive steps to protect our staff, facilities, and essential services, helping ensure the community continues to stay safe, comfortable, and supported during the cold weather. I know up north you guys laugh at this, but down here, we're not used to it. And this has been a weird one this year. I think we told you that on Porch Setting. This has been a strange winter. Outdoor activities may be canceled or postponed if temperatures reach 35 degrees or lower. That means at the square, anything like that, it is canceled. Staff monitor local weather and will notify participants if events are impacted, continuing to advise when it is safe to resume activities. The gatehouses. Doors may remain closed when temperatures fall below 35 degrees to protect staff from prolonged exposure while normal operations continue. Outdoor duties will be minimized during extreme cold below 35 degrees or extreme heat above 104 degrees, with visual checks conducted from vehicles whenever possible. That's your supervisor's drive around and make sure you're okay. I appreciated him. Essential patrols and emergency responses will continue to maintain neighborhood safety. During extreme cold, early morning staff may be canceled or delayed to avoid unsafe conditions. Golf schedules are adjusted so staff can report later once temperatures are safe, ensuring safe operations while continuing to provide golf services. Residents are encouraged to take precautions at home and check on neighbors during extreme temperatures. We've done that. It says stay informed and monitor your county emergency management office and stay attuned to national weather services. I agree with all that. It's just weird. They have certain rules here about certain things, jobs. You know, I was a gate guard for a while, and there's certain rules about that door, believe this or not. It's like there's a rule about everything. And I understand rules, but sometimes to me it's just more of common sense. If you're getting really cold, I don't really ask what the rules are. Shut the door. And if you're getting really cold, turn the heat on. Don't ask somebody if you can, just do it. That's what got me in trouble all the time, because I just did it. I didn't ask. An unlicensed teen from Mexico was arrested for driving without a license after being stopped for failing to yield to an emergency vehicle. A deputy saw a blue Kia Sedona fail to yield to another deputy actively on a traffic stop on State Road 44 in Wildwood around 7 p.m. Saturday, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The driver, an 18-year-old Carlos Daniel Piano, did not switch lanes or slow down to 20 miles per hour below the speed limit. Due to this, the deputy stopped the vehicle near County Road 219 and asked Colleen Piano for his license. He did not have one, nor had he ever. He was not a United States citizen and had never been issued a license, the report said. Colleen Piano was subsequently arrested on charge of operating a motor vehicle without a driver's license. A native of Mexico was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. Before you ask, I don't know. A native of Colombia will be turned over to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement after a violent road rage incident involving a gun. Delwin Wadid Machado, the name will be in the picture, 35, was positively identified by 3 people who had summoned law enforcement to the Lake Miano boat ramp in Oxford at about 2 p.m. Saturday, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. They told deputies that Machado had been driving a white Nissan passenger van when he ran them off the road on US 301. They said that when they reached the intersection of US 301 and County Road 466, Machado began to flail his arm in what appeared to be an aggressive manner. When the light turned green and the vehicles began to travel forward, Machado pointed a gun at the trio's vehicle. Part of the incident was captured on a cell phone video. A deputy located Machado, who was in possession of a black Taurus 9mm handgun. He was arrested on 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, pending being turned over to ICE. I don't know why it's pending. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement placed a hold on a man from Mexico who shattered a homeowner's window in anger. A deputy responded to a noise complaint at an undisclosed residence in Wildwood around 2:50 a.m. Monday, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Dispatchers advised that a Spanish caller, later identified as 23-year-old Hector Lopez Diera, asked for law enforcement due to someone making threats to him. Upon arrival, the deputy met with Lopez Diera, who stated he was invited by the male homeowner for a party. He and other guests started drinking alcohol during this event, at which time the homeowner and his brother told Lopez Diera to leave. He then pushed him out the front door, and he struck the exterior glass window pane in anger, shattering it. The deputy could smell alcohol on him as he gave his statement. There were also what looked like fresh, superficial injuries on his fingers, consistent with hitting the window, the report said. A deputy moved onto the homeowner and learned he had been asleep when Lopez Diera showed up. He was intoxicated and started arguing with the homeowner and his brother. He proceeded to shatter the window pane. The homeowner denied any physical altercation and stated he felt Lopez Diera came to his residence and provoked him. A witness later corroborated the homeowner's story. Video surveillance did the same thing, as it showed Lopez Diera standing on top of the air conditioning unit directly beneath the damaged window. The sound of shattering glass could be heard, followed by a verbal altercation. An inspection of the window revealed a spot of fresh blood on the exterior wall. Next to the window, there was an empty glass bottle on the air conditioner unit below the window as well, and the homeowner valued the broken window at $300. Lopez Diera was arrested on charge of criminal mischief. The native of Mexico was transported to Sumter County Detention Center, where a bond was set at $500, and ICE put a hold on him. Here's a couple of updates real quick. A villager has been placed on probation after exhibiting some bizarre behavior at a neighbor's home. Andrew Bryan Clearly, 56, who lives in the village of Osceola Hills, has been placed on probation for 6 months as the result of a hearing this past week at Sumter County Court. The New Jersey native was at a home on October 9th on Victory Drive in the village of Osceola Hills when he displayed irrational behavior and began ranting about God, according to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. He claimed that God was speaking to him. That probably ought to ring a bell to you. I'm not going to read anymore. I've read it. You know what it is. Here's the update. Here's another update on a contractor that didn't fulfill his obligations. An unlicensed pool contractor who ripped off a customer is in trouble after failing to pay restitution in the case. Edward Gura, 67, of Summerfield, was booked this past week at the Marion County Jail. In 2022, the New Jersey native was charged with contracting without a license and theft from a person over the age of 65. A woman gave Gura a check for $5,500 for a pool restoration project at her home. He cashed the check but did not show up to perform the work. When the woman finally tracked him down, he said he was too busy with other jobs, according to the arrest report. He later claimed he spent that $5,500 to pay property taxes because his wife hadn't paid them in 5 years, and they were going to lose their house. Guerrero had previously told the pool restoration customer that his wife was dead. Guerrero caught a break in court and was allowed to enter a pre-trial intervention contract. Among the requirements was that he make restitution to the woman in the amount of $5,500. He failed to keep up with payments, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. You know, there's a lot of controversy here about whether to give a deposit to somebody, make them do the work first and then pay. I see both sides of that. As a business, they don't know that you're going to pay after they do the work. So it's a controversial thing. I'll just say this. Do business with qualified companies here. Not some Joe Blow that lives over in bumfucked Egypt somewhere that has a truck and he says he can do something. Use your common sense. That's all I'm going to say. Residents were horrified when sewage flooded their homes in the villages. 5 homes in the village of Hawkins were impacted Sunday morning by the sewage backup. Beth LaRocca first heard the bubbling noise as she was about to get out of bed around 8 a.m. She went to the bathroom and noticed the water in the toilet was bubbling. That's always a bad sign. When the toilet was flushed, it filled up almost to the rim. She then went into her kitchen where she heard some bubbling noise coming from the garbage disposal. When she got into the shower, it all seemed normal until she noticed that the brown-covered substance was starting to ooze up in the shower. Soon the bathroom floor was starting to fill up. Beth grabbed a bucket and along with her husband Anthony started to attack the flood. Anthony had recently had surgery on his foot and he was using his scooter which kept his leg elevated as he maneuvered the scooter while pushing the water with a broom and towels. Neighbors also pitched in to help them battle the flood using towels and moving items off the floor and into the garage. As the LaRoccas and their neighbors battled the flood, they noticed a floating wood floor had water coming out of the seams. The LaRoccas called their next-door neighbors who they knew were up north to see if they wanted them to go over and check their house. When they went into the house, they found that every room in the house had 1 or 2 inches of sewage. Anthony called ServPro for his neighbor. The village's utilities department had a pumper truck on the scene but did not have the equipment to help the homeowners with the cleanup of their home. A pipe failure had occurred at the intersection of Melvin Drive and Montanza Loop, leading to the sewage backup. Good Lord. That has got to be a nightmare. She done lost her floating floor. It's gone. We're talking about poop water. You guys understand that, right? It's in the garage. It's all over the house. It's in the shower. I know insurance comes in handy, but the idea that a sewage pipe collapsed or something, I don't know. We'll keep up with this story, hopefully. We'll find out who's responsible for that. Let's have some more news. A villager has been arrested after allegedly stealing jewelry at a store at Brownwood Paddock Square. Tracy Ann Charter, 57, of the village of Monarch Grove is facing a charge of theft after stealing $600 worth of bracelets from the Kylie's closet on January 26, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. Cartier allegedly slipped the merchandise into her purse. While she was in the store, she mentioned to an employee that she had worked at Spartina 449, also at Brownwood. She bragged about wearing clothes from the store and said she only had to work 3 days a week. After the theft was discovered, a manager from Kylie's took surveillance photos from Spartina 449 where Cartier was identified by the manager. When an officer went to Cartier's home, the officer spoke to Cartier's husband, who admitted his wife might be suffering from a kleptomania. He said she had stolen from stores when they lived in Rhode Island. Cartier retrieved a bag of jewelry and handed it over to the police. The jewelry still had the price tags attached to them. She was arrested on a charge of theft and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. Apparently with no bond. A 32-year-old man was allegedly squatting on a Wildwood property, has been arrested after authorities uncovered an extensive illegal golf cart chop shop operation and tens of thousands of dollars in stolen goods. Joshua Wayne Harrell was taken into custody on Wednesday by Sumter County Sheriff's deputies who were responding to an unrelated call along West Clark Street in Wildwood. While on the scene, investigators recognized Harrell as a person of interest in a series of high-valued thefts across the villages and surrounding areas. Deputies also observed multiple golf carts, engines, and various components in plain view near a travel trailer where Harrell had been living for several months. Detectives obtained a search warrant and later confirmed the property was being used to alter, dismantle, and reassemble stolen vehicles to disguise their identities. Recovered items include 4 golf carts in various stages of modification, a Can-Am UTV reported stolen from Wildwood in January, 2 red Yamaha side-by-sides valued at $23,000, and various commercial tools such as chainsaws and battery chargers. Harrell's arrest follows a months-long investigation into several thefts. In one November 2025 incident, Harrell allegedly entered a brand-new Yamaha concierge rental cart at the Waterfront Inn in the Villages and removed its $5,000 motor. Investigators identified him after his palm print was discovered on the cart's rear fender. Police reports indicate Harrell was also linked to an August 2025 burglary of a work truck at the Waterfront Inn, where over $3,700 in Milwaukee brand power tools were stolen. Many of those tools were recovered during the search of the Clark Street property this week. Harrell is currently being held at the Sumter County Detention Center on a litany of charges, including operating a chop shop, 4 counts of burglary, 4 counts of grand theft, 3 counts of petty theft, 2 counts of trespassing, and criminal mischief. Detectives wow, you're going to be gone for a while. Detectives believe the illegal activity spanned several months and involved thefts from multiple locations throughout the county. Additional charges may be pending as the investigation continues. Oh, Wawa, I've missed you. A Bellevue man was arrested on drug charges when officers found methamphetamine in his wallet during a traffic stop. An officer was patrolling a high-crime area in Oxford when he saw 56-year-old George Raymond Fetzer and an unidentified woman take notice of his presence around 11:20 p.m. Wednesday, according to the arrest report of the Wildwood Police Department. From inside Wawa, located at 11770 U.S. Highway 301, they looked in the officer's directions multiple times. This behavior raised his suspicion, as he knew through experience it was uncommon for law-abiding citizens. I was going to say, I don't pay no attention to him other than I might give him a wave or a nod. So he watched as their vehicle, a white 2005 Chevrolet Silverado, left Wawa by turning westbound onto County Road 466. The vehicle then failed to use a turn signal within 100 feet of a turning right onto County Road 201. The report noted this happened immediately after the officer pulled up behind them, raising even more suspicions due to the evasive driving. He continued to follow the vehicle until conducting a traffic stop just west of U.S. Highway 301. When told why he was stopped, Fetzer stated one of his passengers tried to tell him County Road 201 was not a road, hence the abrupt turn without using signals. He and the other occupants continued to show signs of deception during this conversation, including not making eye contact and being overly talkative, the report said. This caused the officer to call for backup and a canine unit to check for narcotics. With a positive alert to the presence of such, the occupants were removed so the vehicle could be searched. This led to the discovery of Fetzer's wallet, which contained a folded $1 bill with methamphetamine, the report said. Fetzer subsequently claimed ownership of the wallet, but refused to identify the narcotics inside. He only stated it looked like ice, the street name for methamphetamine, the report said. He was arrested and charged with possession of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia, as well as issued a written traffic warning for the unsignaled turn. He was transported to Lake County Jail and released after posting a $3,000 bond. Well, how many holes in ones did we get in golf this week? Looks like 3. Nancy Coe of the village of Buttonwood got a hole-in-one on Tuesday, February 3 at hole number 3 at Redfish Run Executive Golf Course. She used an 8-iron, and the distance was 88 yards. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Nancy. Stephen Knoll of the village of Water's Edge made a hole-in-one at hole number 11 at the Richmond Pitch and Putt on Tuesday. He used a gap wedge. It was witnessed by Connie Knoll and Frank Holborough. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Stephen. A Village of Fernandino resident was thrilled to get a hole-in-one. Mary Tallerini scored the lucky ace this past November at the Tierra del Sol Championship Golf Course. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Mary. Okay, let's go to everybody's favorites, letters to the editor. To the editor, I am closing on my house in the Villages. Not buying, but selling, and I can't wait. The bond, maintenance, amenities, and high taxes, add them all up, and you get $9,500 per year. Divide that by 12, and BAM, it's $791 per month, not including your house payment, water, power, gas, pest control, lawn maintenance, cable, and internet. I sold my house and looking to build on Lake Panisofsky so I can stay close to my parents who have been in the Villages for 23 years, and they say if we were to do it all again, we would not retire here. Broken promises about not building south of 44 and long waits to see the doctors, and the traffic in the winter months is crazy. Why isn't anyone asking the question? How did a developer get away with stealing millions from wrongful billing practices in the healthcare business? They walked away and taxpayers were left paying the bill. That's sent in by Mike Lindsay from the village of Dabney. Well, Mike, apparently you don't watch my channel. I wish you would, and if you don't, I wish somebody would tell you about it. I've been talking about all this for a long time. The Villages ain't what it once was. You know that, and I know that, so I won't even get into it. As far as how much it's costing you to be here, that differs depending on the house that you have and so on and so forth. Lake Panisofsky, it's just a matter of time. The Villages is gradually going that direction. How much of that whole area they're going to end up taking over, I don't know. I don't know that they will. But we're hearing more and more about Lake Panisofsky, people getting arrested for this or that, and property rights, and so on and so forth. It's just a matter of time. And as far as your parents being here for 23 years, God bless them for being here that long. They must be up there in age. And I understand why you're wanting to stay close to help when they need it. And God bless you to want to help your parents. Yeah, they've seen the changes. I've seen the changes. I've been coming here, give or take, 25 plus years, long before I could retire here, because I thought it was a 55 plus community, which is all bullshit, really. It is and it ain't, where it once was, but I'm not sure about now. It's just, they figured out a way, there's loopholes. Make it a family park. Zone it so it's actually not part of the Villages, and then you can have families in there. See how it works? So anyway, broken promises building south of 44. I think that goes to the story that I talked here a couple weeks ago. I brought it up in the letters to the editor, and I read it to you about our representative Haig and being on the developer's payroll. And I said back then, I couldn't remember exactly how it was. You'd have to Google it. But he'd done something so the developer could do something, which the bottom line is so they could all make more money. And that might have been it. There might have been a reason, and I'm sure there probably was, because I heard that before, that he cannot cross 44. Don't know why. I never got into it. But I think Haig must have changed things that allowed them to skip over the highway and start building. And that might have been what Haig done. Now, why didn't anybody ever ask about the developer getting away with millions? I don't know if the developer got away with millions, but I do know that something like, what was it, $130-some million or $300? I forget what the figure. It was up there. It was way up there. I don't know if the developer got away with any of that, but that money disappeared somewhere. It went to, I guess, insurance companies and things like that, paid for a lot of the medical facilities here. I don't know. But yes, there should be an investigation there. If there is, it's being kept quiet. I can't get any information on it. I have a couple of people outside the Villages that knows about this stuff. They're on the inside, you might say, of this whole thing. They send me little emails once in a while. I am not going to disclose it. Don't even ask. My word is bond. If I say I'm not going to disclose it, I'm not. They're not getting much either. So I don't know what's happening there. It just seems like it's all being buried under the rug. But, it's a national pastime right now, isn't it? So, thanks for the letter, Mike. I appreciate it. To the editor, we've been here for over 20 years. We've never heard a developer say anything about not expanding. Quit your bitching and go back north. That's sent in by Charlie Capney from the village of Summer Hill. Well, that old saying, go back north, I hate that. That is such a cop-out. You heard the same things about minorities in this country. I mean, legal minorities that were born here. If you don't like it, go back to your own country. Well, this is their country. So I hate that cop-out. I just hate that. I mean, I'm from the north. I know I can go back up north. Just because I complain about something doesn't mean you have the right to tell me to leave a state. I mean, that's just so asinine. But anyway, let me just say this. Mr. Who is it? Charlie. If you haven't heard a developer say anything about not expanding, then you must be walking around with your head up your ass, because I've heard it several times. Back in the day, we were interested in buying what at that time was called a Savannah Series patio villas, or up by Nancy Lopez Country Club. And I was told then by several real estate people. Now, I never heard this from a developer's mouth. So people say developer, I never really know who they're talking about when they say, well, you never heard this from the developer. Nobody here's ever really talked to the developer. It's companies he owns. But I had like 3, maybe 4 different real estate people, inside and outside, to tell me this is the build out. That's the key word. That's code. That means we're not going to build anymore, right? This is the build out. This is it. Buy it now. If you want a new home, buy it now, because this is it. There'd be no more. I heard that there. I heard it down at Lake Sumter when I was looking about buying something down there, and it was the build out. This is the build out. This is it. No more. Then came along Brownwood, and we heard it there, didn't we? Because I questioned it, because now I'm looking at buying a full-time home here. I had part-time home up there around Lake Sumter. I'm looking at a full-time home, and I'm asking about all this. And I said, this is it. This is the build out. I heard this from at least 3 different real estate people that work for the Villages. And I used one of them to buy this home, and they all told me the same thing, every one of them. I said, how far is the Villages going to go? I mean, if I'm going to buy, I want to buy once and be done with it. One and done. This is it. Because under some rule or law, I can't really remember what they said, and I'm not sure I even knew what that rule or law was, but you can't cross 44. Oh, that's strange, because I know there's retirement communities over there on the other side of 44. I said, wonder why we can't go across 44. I mean, I thought that in my mind, but I never asked. Well, then Haig pulled his little shenanigans. All that came out. I reported it. After the reports came out, Haig decided he was not running for re-election. I don't know. So was it illegal? I mean, it sounds like it was, but nobody's ever done anything. Nobody's ever investigated it. I've talked about it before. I don't want to get too involved with all that. But yeah, I was told at least 3 or 4 times, this is it. This is the build out. There ain't be no more. If you want one, you better get it now. It's a sales technique, and I reported it on my YouTube channel several times about it being a sales technique. Don't listen to it. People have been here for a while, took it as a joke when they talk about build up. Yeah, we've heard that before. You haven't been paying attention there, Charlie. So, but good luck to you. Thanks for your letter. We appreciate it. Okay, that's going to be it for the news this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I know there was a lot. Some of it I think is good news. Some of it I just think it's like, it gets boring after a while. I know when you hear about the drunk drivers and the golf cart drunks, you have to let me know. I watch the comments. Nobody says anything about it. After a while, I kind of get the feeling that maybe this is getting to be old news. You really don't want to hear about that anymore. You'd like me to skip on to some other kind of news that's a little different maybe. I'm still getting pretty good views. People are still seem to be interested in it, and so I keep reporting it. I report them because I want you to see, especially in the wintertime compared to the summertime, is drinking that goes on here. Drinking in the Villages is prevalent. It's almost like a pastime. And anybody that's been here will tell you can't go anywhere anymore without turning around and there's a bar. You can't go anywhere to eat anymore. There's a bar. It's outside bar, inside bars. The squares got their own bars. There's just bars everywhere. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing it. I go to bars once in a while. I like them. I go to my favorite place is Gators in Brownwood. I go there a lot, and it's a sports bar. and I have beers and things in there. You have to know that drinking is prevalent here. It's almost a pastime, like I said. And with that, you guys have probably seen my sponsors pop up here and there. And if you would, try to support them if you can. At least give them a call. If you got any interest in anything that they do or what they stand for, give them a call, talk to them, find out. And if you decide to use them, give them my name. Let them know that you're calling them because you watch my channel, because that's what encourages them to keep sponsoring my videos. If they don't ever get a call, if nobody ever shows up, nobody ever says, hey, I was watching Skip's channel the other day and I seen your thing on there and that's the reason why I'm calling you. If you don't do that, we're not going to sponsor you anymore because we're not getting any feedback. It's kind of like a coupon in a newspaper. You know why they put coupons in a newspaper? It's not just so you get that 20% off. You get that 20% off without putting anything in a newspaper. All I got to do is hang it in the store, right? It says 20% off, which they do that a lot nowadays. But back in the day, it cost so much money to put an ad in a newspaper. How do you find out if that ad is worth the money you're paying? Coupons. That's why they do it. How many coupons did we get this week? And that tells them whether that $1,000 ad or whatever it cost them to put that in the newspaper was even worth it. And that's what they're all about. On here, we can't do that. So they depend on you to come in and say, hey, Skip, I used you for this over here. It's just like the Windows guy that enclosed our lanai. You know, if you go in there and say, hey, I was watching Skip's channel and I seen what you guys did for him and we're interested in that. Could I get somebody to come out and look at my place and kind of give me a quote on different ways of enclosing my lanai? When you do that, that encourages them to keep sponsoring my channel. So that's why we ask you to do that. And it ain't just me. They all ask you to do it. And that's the reason why. I'm probably the only one that actually tells you the reason why. Some of the sponsors that I have, if you use our name there, that you seen this here on my channel, and if you use them, sometimes they give me what they call a finder's fee. It ain't much. It's like $50 sometimes. Or if it's a big project, they might send me a check for $100. Hey, I'll take it. So that's why. And with that, I'm just going to say, I appreciate you being here. If you're not a member, please, I encourage you to be a Patreon member. If you don't want to be a Patreon member because of the TV thing, then be a YouTube member. Patreon member starts at $2 a month. YouTube starts at $5 a month, and you get everything commercial free there, and you'll get things early there, and there's some special things that goes on there that you will not see on YouTube. Like we get together sometimes on Patreon because you're going to get a Discord link, and we post most of that stuff on Discord. This is why I encourage you, if you're a Patreon member and you haven't signed up for Discord yet and you're a Patreon member, you're missing out. Maybe on some things you may want to do. Go to Discord. I've sent everybody a link several times. If you need another link, let me know. I'll be glad to send you one. Get on Discord because we put things on there like we're getting together for a lunch or whatever. Anybody want to go? It's going to be here, there, what time, what day. We do that. I also want to talk to you about my new sponsor, Cartworks. They signed up a couple weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago, and that's the advertisement right there. I don't generally talk commercials. I think it takes up too much time, and people don't want to hear it anyway. We're getting together with Jose, I believe Friday of this week or next week, I can't remember, and we're going to grab our cameras, and we're going to go up there. We're going to meet the owner, and we're going to get probably a tour of the factory itself of exactly what they do, how they do, what's the core of their business. I think I already know the core of their business, but they do a lot of things extra. And I want to know what those are. So with that, I'm going to get in there and say, be well, stay safe, stay aware, be aware.
And don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.